everybody. It is August 28th. In your Edmodo, you are going to scroll until you find the post that says 828 seasons. We have the link for the reading, we have the practice questions, we have the email where you can send your answers to the questions. So let's get started with the reading. It is about seasons. So, the reason that the Earth has different seasons, in some parts of the world more than the others, is because the Earth is tilted on its axis. So it has about a 23.5 degree tilt. And remember, the axis is this imaginary line that goes from the North Pole through the South Pole. Okay? One hemisphere is going to actually point more directly toward the sun than the other hemisphere as the Earth orbits the sun. All right. Solstice is going to be when the sun is closest to one of the poles, and then equinox is going to be when the sun is directly over the equator. The equator gets the most direct sunlight throughout the year, though. So, northern hemisphere. So when it is summer in the northern hemisphere, that is when the northern hemisphere is pointed. It's actually the closest to the sun. All right. And when it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it is going to be winter in the southern hemisphere. Okay. So when a hemisphere is pointed toward the sun, it is going to get more direct sunlight. So the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere is June 21st or 22nd. So around that date, the sun's rays are going to directly hit the Tropic of Cancer, which is 23.5 degrees north. Okay, this is the farthest north that the sun is going to be directly overhead. Summer solstice in the northern hemisphere is going to be winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. All right. Now, when it's winter solstice for the northern hemisphere, it is going to be summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. All right. So winter solstice, northern hemisphere, is going to be December 21st or 22nd. The North Pole is going to be facing away from the sun, and the southern hemisphere is going to be more toward the sun, closer to the sun. So it is going to be getting more direct sunlight. Okay? And in winter, there are fewer daylight hours. And then in the summer, there are going to be more daylight hours. Equinox is a time between the two solstices. So when it's an equinox, the sun's rays are going to shine the most directly at the equator. So it's going to be roughly the same nighttime and daytime hours. So we have the autumnal or fall equinox that happens September 22nd or 23rd. And then we get the vernal or spring equinox that happens March 21st or 22nd in the northern hemisphere. So during those times in the northern hemisphere, you are going to have equal amounts of daylight. So make sure you do the questions and turn them into me.